Take a few moments to find a comfortable seated or laying down position. Move mindfully as you feel into what today's body needs for support. And allow that discernment to inform you as to whether leaning against the wall or adding pillows or blankets, really any support or structure that allows you to feel held, so that more awareness is available to notice your breath. And allow these first few breaths to be somewhat effortful as you assist the intrinsic core to expand in all directions with your inhale. And a gentle hugging in on your exhale to support the expulsion of all of that air. Tuning into a natural rhythm. Notice if you can settle into a pause in between each breath. A still point in between the constant movement of your body being breathed. Just notice if you are feeling that do something sensation, that familiar feeling that comes with hyperarousal, that tells us to get busy, to get moving, to do this, do that. And as you continue to settle and notice your breath, just turn towards these distractions or impulses. Rather than acting out from the sensation or the discomfort, see if you can soften and just notice, as if you are trying to see and feel a little more. Rather than continuing to stay busy and constantly doing, it is so important to give ourselves an opportunity every day to just be in relative stillness, to turn towards what we notice and give it space. The only way to change patterns, to see ourselves more clearly and create space between stimulus and response, is we need to create this opportunity for ourselves to feel and to just breathe. In the book, The Presence Process by Michael Brown, he refers to the core emotional experiences of our past, the wounds the stories and beliefs that we create from that. And he refers to those as being innately uncomfortable. And it's our automatic impulse to push this discomfort away, for it to stay out of our awareness so that we can get on with life. Yet this is called suppression, and it is achieved through sedation and control. And Michael Brown refers to this as being akin to a jar full of water, being your authentic self or pure essence. And these uncomfortable emotional, physical, and mental experiences are like oil in this jar of water. And by constantly keeping ourselves busy, it is like shaking the jar endlessly in an attempt to change our experience. Yet what that does is mixes the water and oil so we can't see where they separate. All of this endless doing and thinking results in a murky mixture. So reactivity is shaking the jar, and response and awareness and mindfulness is allowing the jar to come to stillness, so we can begin to see where the water ends and the oil begins, and then slowly scoop out the oil. But the only way to do this is to put the jar down, to observe it, to feel, and allow the oil to come to the surface. All you need to do in this moment is practice breathing and noticing what arises rather than reacting, acting out from what arises. So for the next couple of minutes here, just allow this to be potent practice as you continue to notice your breath, cultivating a rhythm that feels nourishing and spacious. And recognize any emotions or distractions or thoughts. And noticing what state you are in your nervous system. And then move deeper. What are you feeling in your body? There's no sensation that is too subtle or too small to pay attention to. Where do you feel it in your body? And even as a thought arises, to be able to turn towards that and get curious. What does that thought feel like? As it's developing a new way of relating, by just holding space to feel more. And tracking it, noticing how it moves, how it shifts, noticing the patterns, Noticing how your breath changes as you move in to meet sensation or get distracted. Just observe yourself. Allow the oil and water to settle and separate. This becomes a integrative space where you can offer yourself forgiveness and the unconditional love. And self-compassion. These things that we often seek externally and crave from others. Yet what we truly need is to be able to offer it to ourselves. And to recognize that it is in this discomfort that we access the healing we desire. By being willing to feel unconditionally. Again, notice how you're breathing. Guide yourself into a rhythmic breath that is soothing and spacious. And it is in this relationship with your breath that we are able to access deeper and deeper levels of our subconscious. If you are breathing in a conscious and rhythmic, soothing way, your body knows you're safe. So you can notice more. And this also gives you access to noticing when you move into overwhelm or shut down, so that you can upregulate or downregulate with your breath to continue cultivating this middle way. This expands your window of tolerance. So that you can ride these waves rather than being pulled out of presence. Because when we're not in our window of tolerance, when we're not fully present, we're in our survival system, and we can only think or do what we've done or thought in the past. And when we are able to expand our window of tolerance, to lean into discomfort and cultivate these spaces of pausing and feeling, just noticing ourselves. This is where we get access to changing the story we live into, changing our perspective, upgrading our DNA, accessing higher levels of consciousness and loving awareness. No longer victim to compulsions or addictions, that are really a protection mechanism of trying to avoid what's uncomfortable. So when you create these experiences where you are curious about the discomfort and you hold loving space for these sensations, noticing the patterns of your mind and accessing self-compassion and forgiveness, we expand what's possible for ourselves. Ultimately, we gain more control by learning how to surrender. And after a few minutes or moments of just allowing yourself to feel, noticing what's real for you, holding loving space for yourself as you would for a hurt child or animal, you can then get into redirecting or addressing what you're feeling by taking action, choosing a high-quality thought or emotion that you'll activate and embody. But it's always first honoring and holding space for what is there before we take action. So take a moment here to acknowledge yourself for moving through this process, being patient with whatever was arising for you. And allow yourself to trust this process of putting the jar down, observing the water and oil separate, so that you can truly see where the oil is and scoop it out with compassion.